Okay, more earnings then from Bharti on to Cholamandalam Investment. The asset quality pressure was lesser than estimated, but the results largely in line with estimates. Arul Selvan, who is the CFO at Chola, joins us right now on the show with his thoughts on the quarter and the outlook ahead. Good having you, Mr. Selvan. Thanks so much for taking the time out. I was looking at your numbers. Your net interest margins on a YOY basis have gone up, while on a QOQ they have stayed flat. But it's an impressive number. Is this something that you believe you can sustain for the quarters ahead?
Yeah, the net interest margins have been improving because of two reasons. One, the collections have been improving, so that has resulted in the reversals on interest on the NPAs being lower. Also, there has been some amount of cost of funds benefit because we are changing the mix from bank borrowings to market borrowings like NCDs and CPs. So that has resulted in a good amount of savings. I presume that the savings will continue in the subsequent quarters also, now that the banks have reduced their base rates. However, there will be some pressure on yields because we may have to pass on some of these benefits to the customers, and but net we expect the NIMs to hold, if not improve.
Selvan, good numbers, and I'm just looking at the disbursement as well. A very high number coming in there. Do you think the high disbursements in the vehicle business is likely to grow at over 25%? Because while MHCV has been good, are you confident that LCV as well will continue to be as great?
Yeah, the market has been growing on the HCV segment. We had not been too much in the HCV segment earlier, but now with the HCV segment growing, we are picking up that segment. Lights have started growing this quarter, and we have seen some traction in the lights. The only segment which is not growing is the mini LCVs, but we expect that to follow soon. Now that the festival season is around the corner. And we have been doing a reasonably good amount of traction on the tractors, and the used vehicles are picked up. As you can see, there are a lot of used vehicles which are in the market due to high levels of repossessions that has happened across the board, with many of the NBFCs and banks resorting to repossession of vehicles to sort of cut their losses. But these vehicles are of lower vintage, so they are getting a good price in the market, and we are seeing some good traction in the used vehicles also.
Okay, your total AUM has registered an impressive growth of 20%. Now, if I look at the basic income stream, I'm not very impressed with what is happening in your home finance business. That is one of your most important mainstays. Why is your home finance business not growing at a run rate which is not growing at a run rate which is the industry run rate?
So the home finance business, as you know, there's some vibration. The home finance business has got a lot of new players coming into play because many of them don't have credit offtake in their traditional forays. So they have started moving into home finance business. This is something like what happened in the case of the light commercial vehicles. When the heavy started slowing down, people started moving into lights, and then once they saw that the losses are high, they moved back. There are certain strengths of individual players in each of the portfolios. I presume that the home finance is being looked upon as an easy area to sort of grow, but there are difficulties out there, and people will realize this, and they will go back to the traditional portfolios once the credit offtake takes off in their respective portfolios, and they also realize that this home finance is not a piece of cake that they can easily sort of get around with. But till that time, we would like to play a little lower profile because we don't want to play this yield game with them to see that and then keep reducing the rates, because the margins out there are very thin and you can't do too much to play the yield game. So it is better to reduce the offtake, and we don't want to play the LTV game, which is the other thing which these newcomers are playing, where they are going ahead to do LTVs higher than 60-70%. We have been traditionally holding our LTVs at 50-52% because that's what makes you makes sure that the customer pays with such a low LTV. If you tend to go for a higher LTV in this product, you will end up going into more of litigation to sort of recover your loans, rather than the customer finding that the value of the property is much higher than the loan for him to settle it and then move on.
Okay, good chatting with you, Mr. Selvan. Thanks much for taking the time out and speaking with us. A nice 3% move is what you're seeing on Cholamandalam Investment. Impressive performance, and the management commentary as well is looking positive. 2.5% is now where it's settled at. 611 is where the stock is. A very unimpressive start for the markets, much unlike what the global peers are up to. In fact, we're on the brink of breaking that 8,300 mark and breaking into the red right now. 8,309 is where the index is currently.